Anybody have an update currently? 4-3. Still 4-3. All right. So, Alice, forgive me. I know I'm no Linda Wolseley, but I'll try my best. Alice is a pretty amazing young woman, talented at so many things, a dominant athlete, an incredible student, mature, grounded, self-aware. Her great strength is in her approach to everything, or great strength in her approach to everything is her will to succeed. Her pleasure at overcoming obstacles is palpable, and that's something that can't be taught. And to hear her described in this manner would lead you to believe that she's super serious in all business all the time, and that would be unfair. She's got a great sense of humor and an understanding of how to seize a moment. Her grad box is one such example. It involves pictures of her and some friends, and some red cups, and maybe some ping pong balls. And I'm not sure what they're up to, but it does seem a little unusual for a grad box. I also know a little bit about Alice outside of school. Last spring, she was my 7-year-old son Emmett's swim instructor. She was excellent. She had a difficult class, and she cracked the whip, and she helped Emmett, who's a bit of a sinker, turn the corner in his love for swimming. When I told him this morning that I was going to have the opportunity to speak about Alice today, and that maybe he could contribute something, he thought about it for a moment, and he said, "Alice is cool." Agreed, Emmett Charles Danger Johnson, agreed. And so to wrap up, let me congratulate this year's graduating class. Alice was a great pick for valedictorian. From the minute I met her when she was in grade 8, I knew that this young woman was special. Perhaps she'll talk about that moment, but probably not. It involves her pitching a film idea called Melanie 8, sci-fi fertility problems, a 17-year-old girl, and a gorilla. If you're curious about it, you can come find me later and I'll tell you one of my favorite stories. But for now, Alice, the mic is yours.
I remember having within these 4 walls. You never know what you'll remember and what you'll forget. The brain is oddly selective in that way. This particular conversation I probably remember having because soon after I found out that he has an anaphylactic allergy to peanuts and doesn't carry an EpiPen. As a lifeguard, I think that fact might have been in the back of my mind for these last 4 years. So to Xavier, I think I'm finally going to let that one go. But that's what this is about. Letting go of a chapter of your life and moving on. Our high school experience is more than what happened within this building. Whether your best memories were here, in the city, or across an ocean with each other, in 20 years from now, these last 4 years will have boiled down to a really good trailer to a bad movie. The trailer is made up of all the good, exciting parts, but when you watch the movie, you realize those were the only good parts. The rest was school. I was very conflicted in writing this speech because part of me wanted to come up here and tell you the classic carpe diem, to jump before you look and take every opportunity that comes your way. But if you live too much in the present, you'll never get anywhere, because some of the greatest things in life take a lot of planning. But if you live too much in your future, you'll never realize that you got anywhere. So I came to the conclusion that I should just stick with the theme of the school. Do what you want. Because this is it. We are living the best years of our lives. We are in the beginning of these days that turn into weeks, into months, and into years that are all so exciting and thrilling. These are the years that old people talk about. These are the years These are the years explored in the movies because they are so bombarded with emotion and change that can never be replicated at any other age. Maybe one year will be bad, or some months will be riddled in heartbreak over exams or this thing called love, but you'll bounce back, because that's what we do. Time heals all, and it seems to be moving faster and faster. To think that 4 years ago today, we were grade 8s that were just learning the benefits of hairbrushes, and that we can almost now all vote. On top of that, hardly a year from now, we'll all be tasting alcohol for the first time. Has been killing you all. So if you were ever going to exploit the present, then now's your time. Or don't. Whatever makes you happy. But I challenge you to at least once in the next few years, jump before you look and to make mistakes. We are a generation of the unknown. Our lives will be spent in some way or another innovating ways to fix the world that was left to us, while going through revolutions in all areas of society that are hardly predictable at this rate. So take your time to figure out where you stand in that generation, where you flourish and become that person that achieves all of their dreams. That might take a few tries. Heck, statistically, some of us in this room today are currently making the biggest mistake of our lives. And I can feel all the parents praying to all the gods and stars that isn't their child. But with such a blurry future ahead, it's very important that you enjoy what you do. Someone asked me one day what I wanted to be when I was older. I responded, I want to be happy. They told me that I didn't understand the point of the exercise, and I told them that they didn't understand life. That was a quote that I heard one day. And it stuck with me all these years because it challenged the way that I thought about my future. It's the question some love to hear and talk about, but most dread. We worry about whether or not our ambitions are possible or acceptable to others, and I was always like that. I have this perfect image in my head of what I want my life to look like. And it's so complicated and precise when in reality, if you let it, life is much simpler than that. It's great to have goals, but sometimes we can get lost in them. So I think now's a good time for that, to stop and to acknowledge your accomplishments. And I mean all of them. I know these days, in this great country, finishing high school isn't that big of a deal, but think about how far you've come as a human. You can speak, you can understand what I'm saying, you can read and write, and you can interpret numbers and then at least apply basic math skills to them. That may or may not help you the day you decide to buy 20 pineapples. So congratulations on that. It's a great start. People always say, go out there and take over the world. That line is used so often to compliment someone you think will go far in life, or to encourage people to work their hardest and achieve their biggest dreams. But today, I'm not going to wish that upon any of you, because I don't believe that our need for possession and domination are the human qualities we should encourage. And that's why I'm voting Kanye for president in 2020. Some of the parents might be confused, you'll get an explanation on the ride home. I don't believe that the better tomorrow comes from any one of us ruling it. I want to believe that it can come from all of us working together. From every individual coming forward with their best qualities, creating groups, communities, cities, provinces, and countries that can finally learn to work together. This is the only world and the only life you've got. If you don't disagree and don't like it, you can't walk away. So to you, my school of activists, I encourage you to continue going through the world and change it one person at a time. I encourage you to keep that fire and those strong morals and spread them everywhere you go. No one learns from being yelled at for having the wrong opinion, so keep teaching them, as you've all taught me, to be better people by being more caring, and more fair. However, on a side note, film's plan for world domination is still very much in motion. On behalf of all the students, I'd like to thank the administration, the vice principals for always having an open door available to all of us, the secretaries for allowing slept in to be a legitimate excuse on our late slips, the janitors for dealing with a certain kind of mess that could be easily avoided at any other school, the guidance counselors for creating a true safe space, Rob for always keeping us on our toes, and last but not least, Mr. McKinnon for being the most proactive and kind principal. You have all contributed in making this school so much more than just a building with paints on the doors and a fancy auditorium. On a different side of the administration, I'd like to thank the teachers, our academic teachers, for making such an effort, especially last year, for helping us get where we wanted to be. And for the teachers in our majors, for helping us grow into the young adults we think we are, and basically being our second set of parents. You have been so incredibly inspiring and have taught us so many things that we can take with us and use for our lives separate from the arts. And of course, our parents and guardians. Thank you for not only supporting us throughout the last 4 years by coming to our shows, helping us with our extravagant culminatings, and dealing with our breakdowns, but for allowing us to come to the school in the first place, for supporting our little grade 8 dreams and nourishing them, and allowing them to grow in a place like ESA. So to all the grads, go out there and make the biggest mistake of your life over and over and over. Because if you don't stop trying, then you haven't failed. You've just found 1,000 ways that don't work. 1,000 paths that are not meant for you. And to that, the limit does not exist.